Well, hey, cruisers, welcome back. I'm going to give you some more of the cruise news and what's going on in this glorious time of the year. Here in Texas, it's hotter than hell and hotter than Hades, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, we're going to talk about some surprise, some. And we're going to talk a little bit about the travel ban that's going on due to a level 4 travel advisory. So, without further ado, I have my coffee. Let's get to it. Royal Caribbean has quietly swapped a sea day for a hidden gem. Cabo Rojo, tucked away in the Dominican Republic, is stepping in for Labadee, Haiti, and passengers are all for it. Why? Passengers are for it because Labadee is under level 4 advisory and Cabo Rojo brings calm, coral, and coastline. Royal Caribbean is making the pivot smoothly, trading risk for revenue. Local vendors are ready, tours are in place, and guests, they're loving the change. Don't worry, snorkeling excursion, still going to happen, just in a slightly less bulletproof vest environment. Call that a win. Point being, it's just Hades gone to Hades. How about that? It's gotten really bad. It's gotten so that you go down there and the drug dealers and the traffic lords, and I don't know if the current administration has anything to do with it or not. You know, it is entirely possible that they're making people mad everywhere in the world anyway. Not that I have any kind of a political view of anything, which you're not going to find on this show. I'm not going to share anything about my political views. It doesn't matter. But that's just how I feel about any of that. So go to Cabo Rojo, have a great time, go do some snorkeling over there, and don't worry, you don't have to worry about a life vest trying to catch a bullet for you instead. It's just going to be safer. That's all I can really think about. Wonder of the Seas Casino. So the Wonder of the Seas has a casino expansion. The elite lounge is out. Card tables are in. Wonder of the Wonder of the Seas is reshuffling its deck, literally, to make room for a larger non-smoking casino. Now, I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm not a smoker, so a non-smoking casino, that really doesn't, I don't know. I mean, I guess people go to the casino because they want to have a place indoors where they can smoke, and they are kind of ventilated, but I know that I've gone through, and when I've walked through there to go from one place to the other in the casino, it just kind of has a reek to it anyways. So, anyway, from June 22nd to July 13, Loyalty Lounges, Social 100, and the Comedy Venue are closed. Why? Because casino revenue per square foot crushes cocktail chatter. Royal Caribbean's betting on high rollers, and staff are reassigned, not removed, so they're not going to lose any of their positions anyway. Elite cruisers may grumble, but the chips, well, they're about to fall exactly where their chips are going to fall where the bean counters want them to fall. I mean, these guys, listen, yes, they want to give you a good vacation. Yes, they want you to have a good time. Yes, they want you to thoroughly enjoy yourself. I get that. But the bottom line is that these guys they're in the business to make money. I mean, let's get real about this. They're in the business to make money, and they're going to do whatever it takes to make money, and they're going to try to sell it to you to where you can have a good time a little bit differently than what you were planning on. So the point being is, instead of going for an extra drink, maybe get the extra drink and go to the casino. Maybe you'll win a free cruise. Okay, so maybe not, but anyway. Valiant Lady Engine change up. Imagine planning your Dominican Republic days. So, the Dominican port, uh, the Dominican part gets ditched. That's what happened to the Valiant Lady. Apparently, Virgin Voyages announced that they've been having some engine issues and they need extra maintenance done on them. I wonder if they're part of the same propulsion plants that was like some of the ships that were out in California that were having some propulsion troubles. But in any case, Virgin Voyages announced engine maintenance just 3 days before sailing. Puerto Plata got swapped for Grand Turk, and Bimini bumped forward an hour. Virgin's guests were pretty much chill about it, but the irony, a cruise called Dominican Days that never goes to the DR? I don't know, guys. I mean, if you want to go to the Dominican Republic, I guess don't go by Virgin because they're going to go, well, not to the DR. That's, how does he say it? That's all I got to say about that. Anyway, props to Virgin anyway. They handled it in stride and they kept the party going at sea. So, I mean, in Virgin, they're going to keep it going anyway. I like Virgin Voyages. I really do. I mean, Virgin Voyages are, they're all mostly adults. They're younger adults. They're kind of out of my league in that sense. I'm a little bit older. I'm a Gen Xer, which if you stay tuned to the Gen X channel, you're going to find out that I am going to eventually be getting into a lot of Gen X challenges, Gen Z, and things like that. But don't take it personal. It's all in good fun. But in any case, Virgin Voyages are really good about giving everybody a good time and doing it in style. I like the overall feel of Virgin Voyages from what I've seen and read about it. Now, I haven't been on one yet, but that's not saying that it isn't something to. That's not saying that it's not something to enjoy anyway. And it is a goal of mine. I do plan on going on a Virgin Voyage cruise at some point. So then, other than that, you're going to have to find somebody that's been on one to ask them, or ask a travel agent about them too, I guess. That's in any case, I like how they handle things so far. So far, so good, I guess. No news is good news when it comes to that. Anyway, Puerto Vallarta cruise guests are being reminded to stay sharp. Moorings are in place due to localized incidents. Meanwhile, cruise lines are looking inward, adding to new cabins, and the older ships are getting upgraded with new cabins. Some of the cabins are being made bigger. I know that. More cabins means more crews, tighter quarters. In some cases, in other cases, not so much. Again, we're back to the whole idea is to bump the bottom line. These guys they're wanting to make more money. I mean, times aren't just tough for us, times are tough for everybody. But safety briefings and port cautions aside, the expansion strategy is full of steam ahead. More cabins means more crew, tighter quarters, and a bump to the bottom line. Safety briefings and port cautions aside, the expansion strategy is full steam ahead. Call it grow and guard, build more while keeping everyone alert. Carnival Firenze launch and conduct crackdown. She's sleek, she's Italian, and she's enforcing the rules like a Roman soldier. And they should. Some of these are getting really carried away. They really are. I mean, you go on these cruises, you want to have a good time. You don't want to worry about how you're going to weather somebody else breaking out in a bar fight, kids running around all hours of the night, up and down the halls, making all kinds of noise when you want to get a little bit of sleep because you got a really cool trip that you haven't been to. You haven't been to some of these ports like Cabo San Lucas or something like that even, and you want to go and you want to enjoy yourself, and you got some freaking kid running up and down the hall all night long, keeping you awake, pounding on doors, and they're not really doing anything about it. Well, apparently they're going to be coming down on people about that. They're going to start enforcing some of the rules. Uh, the Firenze is bringing Venice vibes to Long Beach, so they're going to be based out of Long Beach. Guests love the decor, the pizzeria, and the crew, so that's a good thing. Let's talk about the rules. Carnival Code of Conduct now comes with a welcome letter and a canine patrol, and they are doing that. It's they got the dogs there that are going to sniff your shit on the way in, and they're going to sniff your shit on the way out. So be ready. You know, if you're going to carry something you ain't supposed to be carrying, you're going to get caught doing it. Anyway, they come with a welcome letter and a canine patrol and a zero tolerance policy for nonsense, no fights, no weed, no Bluetooth speakers. Break the rules, it's $500 fine. Gonna hit you right in the ass pocket, ain't they? So, I guess the worst thing they could do, and they do have that too, is that, you know, the worst is going to be a one-way trip back to the port. And that's probably something you don't want, because a one-way trip back to the port probably means you're going to be banned for life. Means you're not going to get to go on another cruise with Carnival. And quite frankly, I like Carnival cruises, and I don't want to be banned from it. So, I used to have a thing about Carnival cruises. I used to think that, you know, well, they're for non-sophisticates or whatever. I don't know what the right word for it would be, but I've gotten so I really like the Carnival cruises because I like the fun atmosphere. I like the party atmosphere. There's always something going on, always something to do. I really do hate the fact that they're getting cheap on some of the stuff they're trying to do with it lately. But it's still, by and large, it's a fun cruise. And let's face it, you're on a cruise. You could be home, you know, going to your 9 to 5 and doing stuff like that. It's like, no, you're on a cruise. You're on vacation. You're in the Caribbean. You're in, you know, Cabo San Lucas. You're someplace that a lot of your friends are not, and you're someplace that maybe a lot of your friends will never get to. So it's like, I guess weigh it that way. Anyway, Firenze may be fun Italian style, but she's not afraid to throw you overboard, figuratively speaking. Yeah, they're not going to throw you overboard for real, trust me. Oh, man. So, Port Canaveral. Carnival's going to celebrate 35 years at Port Canaveral. That's pretty cool. So 35 years, let's see, I've been here for 30, yeah, it's quite a while. So 35 years at Port Canaveral, and they threw a celebration to the Mardi Gras. Back in 1990, the TSS Mardi Gras launched from that very port, so that's pretty appropriate. 300 annual departures, 450 million in regional impact later, and it's one of the busiest cruise hubs in the U.S. That's pretty cool. I think it ranks third right now. I think Miami's the first. Galveston's the second. And I think Canaveral is third. I think. I'm going to have to look that up some more. You know, comment down below in that if you know what that answer is. Because I am not 100% sure. But I think Canaveral is third behind Galveston. Carnival donated a hybrid pickup truck to keep Brevard beautiful. They want to make sure they do their share for keeping the environment around them and their footprint a whole lot smaller than what it otherwise would be. So I like that too. Serenade of the Seas in Alaska. The itinerary has changed. Alaska is still stunning, but now with fewer scenic cruising hours. Royal Caribbean trimmed the Serenade of the Seas at the Ketchikan port by about 30 minutes, and they cut the second scenic day altogether to ensure an on-time arrival in Vancouver. Cruisers get less fjord time, but Royal's ensuring full refunds on any excursions that get affected by it, so that's good. It's not ideal, but in the wild north, timing is everything. And this is a new segment I'm going to be trying for this. I'm going to call it the Banana Peel Bonus because I am a fan of monkeys and stuff like that. I think they're pretty cool little animals. Especially the little one. I don't know, this is going to date me a little bit, but I'm a fan of the Indiana Jones movie, and I think it was in Raiders of the Lost Ark, where it was one of the monkeys in there that I really like. I thought it was kind of cool, and it wound up being a sacrificial lamb, but either way. So we're gonna call it the banana peel bonus. Cruise trivia break. Did you know Diana Ross is the godmother of Star of the Seas? Uh, that's a six-figure marketing move, and she's not even on board the damn ship. Labadee, only the beach, Royal Caribbean. Uh, on that same note, let's talk about Labadee. Labadee, only the beach belongs to Royal Caribbean. I just learned about that. So the rest of the island belongs to Haiti. And right now, Haiti's a bit of a hostile area. Most of the private island workers, if you ever wondered, they commute in. And Coco Cay, that refresh costs the north of 300 million. So they made it better. They improved it a little bit. It cost them 300 million to do it. But I was always curious about this one too. Is that most of the island workers that you see when you go to these private islands that the cruise ships own, they're gonna fly in here. Most of these private islands, the people that work on these islands, they commute in. Uh, I was always wondered if they stayed there, if they had like a little quarters there or something like that, but they don't. Apparently, they come in with a ship and they get there with everybody else. And a law requiring cruise ships to rescue people at sea. I don't know if you ever wondered about this one too, but cruise ships are required by law, maritime law, or SOLAS, to rescue people when they are seen or at sea or they're within the area. And there's a lot of people that wonder about, well, what about pirates and stuff like that? And pirates are very real. Pirates are out there. So you can expect that, well, we're not going to really see them. I'm sure the cruise ships know where they're at, where they're not at, or something along that line anyway. But anyway, there's a law that requires them to rescue these people. And you want to know who you can thank about that? Think 1912, the Titanic. After the Titanic went down in 1914, they adopted a law that says that you need to pick up stranded refugees no matter what. Facebook warriors are saying, cruise ship calls to the Cayman Islands and stuff like that, you know, they get worried about this, and they worry about whether they're going to pick up a hostile person that's going to get on board. And I don't know. Personally, I think that the chance of them doing that are kind of slim. I would rather have them try to rescue people and then worry about it in the aftermath, because they do have armed guards and stuff like that on the ship. You just don't see them. Cruise lines are increasingly leaving the islands off their itinerary, citing their reliance on the tendering and the lack of a cruise pier, making it less attractive for newer and larger ships. I kind of suspected something like this was going to happen eventually, and that's the fact that these cruise ships are a lot larger than they used to be. They're depending on the tenders a whole lot more than they ever used to. And that's just not very efficient anymore. I mean, some of the smaller ships they ran, about 2,000, 4,000 cruisers, and they kind of handled it for the most part. But now you're looking at 6,000, 8,000, like the Mardi Gras. She's a big ship. So it's one of those things that something's got to give someplace. They get these larger and larger and larger ships, which, by the way, I want to know, what do you think about the size of the ships? Do you prefer a larger ship? Do you not prefer a larger ship? Do you like the smaller ships? Let me know. I really want to know. So anyway, the newer and the larger ships they're kind of starting to shy away from the Cayman Islands as an itinerary. So that's all I got for you this time on this broadcast, or show, if you will. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. It's going to get better. I'm new at this, and it's something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to kind of put together a cruise show. I love cruising. So it's kind of my setup isn't the greatest yet. I'm working on it. It's getting better. I'm getting better. I have a lot to learn with it. some of the things that you're going to find coming up that I have, it's going to be weather. I want to put together a brief weather report for certain areas of the Caribbean and like over in Cabo and stuff like that in California, so that when you're getting ready to embark on your cruise, you kind of know what weather you're going to be looking into for the week. It's going to be kind of a generalized, but that's part of what I want to do. I'm going to get some more current events. I'm going to get some more of the banana peel that I call it, which is going to be these little facts like we learned about the Titanic and the positive parts that the Titanic offered. If there is anything positive, I mean, over 1,000 people died in that thing, but hey, we got to remember stuff like that. These people, they thought they were invincible. Not the people, but the ship. They thought the ship was never anything going to happen, and we found out different now, didn't they? So, but the good thing came about it is that the story is, I believe it was the Carpathia or something like that, or there was one of the ships, and I don't remember exactly which one. I'm not really a historian, but when they put out their SOS calls, there was a ship that was somewhat close by but didn't dare go in. And had they have gone in, maybe it wouldn't have been quite as bad. But again, like I said, the thing that came out of it is that now cruise ships are required to go in and rescue these people. Anyway, so like I said, this is new. I'm new. Hopefully things will get better, smoother, not quite so herky-jerky. And I look forward to doing it again. Until next time, come see me. This is the Gen X Protocol Report. Or this is the Gen X Cruise Show. However you want to look at it. Either way, come see me again. I'll have something ready again very, very soon. Until the next show, have a blessed week. Bye. Hi, and welcome to the Gen X Angle. This is the part of my